Welcome to the SENDcast. My name is Dale Pickles, Managing Director of B Squared and the host of the SENDcast. If you are a new listener, then welcome to the SENDcast. This is a special episode where we're raising the profile of one of the events in the UK focusing on special educational needs and disability. And in this episode, we're discussing Nasen Live, a conference taking place in July. And that's going to be in Birmingham at the Vox Arena, or the Vox, whatever it's called. And in this bonus episode, I'll be discussing the conference with Michael Surr from Nasen and just finding out why you should go. The SENDcast is created and produced by us here at B Squared. We have a range of products to help schools. We have our assessment software, our evidence for learning and parental communication system. We have this podcast. We have our CPD sessions and lots more. Visit the B Square website or click on the meeting link in the show notes to book a meeting with me, and I can take you through how our products can help you. Now, let's get on with this special episode. My guest in this episode is Michael Surr, the Head of Education at Nasen. Michael has been with Nasen since 2016. And before this, he worked as a teacher, SENCO, and deputy head in primary schools, both in the UK and abroad. He has worked for a local authority as part of the leadership team of SEND Advisory Service. And Michael has a passion for SEND equality and mental health. Welcome to the show, Michael. So, Nasen Live, what's it about?
Nasen Live. So we consider it at Nasen as our flagship event. So it happens every year and has done so for many, many years. It's moved around a little bit. It currently takes place at the Vox, which is just outside Birmingham on the same site as the NEC. So it's very easy to get to either via public transport, or train links are excellent as well. So it is a conference, but we like to focus on the CPD element. So there's lots of different sessions from a range of speakers that people can attend. But in addition to that, there are also exhibitors as well.
And we are one of those exhibitors this year.
You are indeed.
Which is fun because I've not done Nasen Live at the Vox before. I'd done it when it was in Leeds many years ago. And I did it for many, many, many years as B Squared when it was in Bolton. Many moons ago. And some people listening will probably remember the show in Bolton. But yeah, first time I visited at the Vox before. This will be the first time exhibiting, which I'm quite excited about.
It's a really nice venue, not least because there is access to daylight. There are huge windows on one side in the exhibition space that look out over the lake by the NEC. So yeah, you don't feel too confined apart from when you're in the speaker sessions.
And it is, you said, it is a conference. There are lots of speakers, and I've got the list. And you've got Ginny Bootman, Joe Fautley, Natalie Packer, and Zoe Mather, who've all been on the podcast. They are going to be speaking there, but you've also got a big lineup of lots of others as well, covering lots of different topics.
Yeah.
Some of them are professionals, and some of them are those with lived experiences, aren't they?
Yeah, so the theme for this year is preparation for life, and that's focused really on thinking about how we enable all children and young people to thrive. And we went for preparation for life rather than preparation for adulthood, because that's a term that's used a lot in the sector, and it can mean different things to different people, and it's in some ways it kind of almost has different meanings for different people as well. So we went for preparation for life because that's what we're about, really, as Nasen and also as the wider sector as well.
Yeah, with preparing for adulthood, I have heard people going, oh, yeah, we're not a college. Because they seem to think preparing for adulthood is post-16. Yeah. It quite clearly says in the code of practice that preparing for adulthood is to be something that should be in from early years. So I think Preparing for life is like, actually, it helps you understand it's a life thing, not a post-16 thing. So it's everyone.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And we support it from an early age.
Definitely. So as part of that, obviously mentioned about young people and lived experience. So that does feature quite heavily this year. So we've got some students from Derwent College who will be part of a speaking slot, so you can hear from them about their experiences and what's worked, what's helpful from their perspective. And you mentioned Joe Fautley as well as a speaking session. Joe will also be a part of a panel, the focus of which is lived experience. And as part of that panel, we've got a range of people with lived experience who, yes, they're adults now, but they've reflected on their time when they were in the education system and will be sharing their thoughts, their insights, and also considerations that we as practitioners need to have.
It's always great when you have the EHCP, you have all that national curriculum, you have all that stuff from the government, but to actually hear from students of actually this was what really made a difference is important.
Yes.
And sometimes what the information might be a small tweak for a school, but it makes a big difference for that individual.
Absolutely. Something new for this year that we're starting to embed going forward as well is to have a research strand as part of the session. So we'll hear from people who are involved in research, because research is important, but they will also be giving that perspective of, so what do you do with the research, and how do you utilize it to develop your practice back in schools or whichever type of setting you're from.
Nice. So this is all happening on a single day?
It is all happening on a single day, Friday the 4th of July.
So Friday 4th of July up in Birmingham, and that's a lot of sessions. So it's not one. How many sort of sessions are going on at a time?
Okay, so we do this deliberately so that there is that variety, but what it means is that apart from the panel at the end of the day and the opening address from our CEO Anna Marie Hassel, there will be 3 sessions happening at the same time. So once the agenda is published, we're not quite there yet.
I was having a look before we started recording. I'm going, I can't see the agenda. I know what all the sessions are.
Yeah, as of the 29th, we've just got to cross some T's and dot some I's before we can release that.
And alongside all those lovely sessions, there's going to be an army of us exhibitors as well.
Absolutely. So there's always a real range of exhibitors. So some will be like yourselves, B Squared, who will be offering or showcasing what schools can buy into in terms of a product or resource. But then we also have some services that exhibit as well. So educational psychologist groups that are out there do exhibit as well. So it is a real range that people can look at. And what we have done, which is another pressure on the agenda as well as the number of sessions, we made sure that we build in time for people to be able to look at the exhibitors. So action-packed agenda, but that does include time for looking at what's on offer from our exhibitors.
And probably one thing which you probably should have started with, who is the conference aimed at?
Well, really, it's aimed at anybody who's involved in educating children and young people with SEND, and that is everybody that is involved in educating children and young people. You know, every teacher is a teacher of SEND, every leader is a leader of SEND. That aside, I would say it's our single biggest group that attend are Senkos, but we do also have teachers, we have school leaders, we have representatives from MATs, from local authorities, independents. So it is a real mixed bag. There should be something for everyone.
Excellent. So, what are you looking forward to the most about the event? Apart from lunch, everyone says lunch at these things. Apart from the lunch, what are you looking forward to?
Ooh, I think the thing that we consistently feel year on year, and it always stands out, and we hear the same from delegates as well, is the buzz that is around nasen Live. So it's one of those events that means you can get together with colleagues who, in most cases, in this context, you're never going to have met before. So you meet up with new colleagues, and it's just that opportunity to have some time out to reflect, to absorb, but also to link in with others that are maybe doing the same job as you, and also maybe have different perspectives on things as well. So for me, it's that buzz that comes from being able to get together rather than, as we are now, being online, because a lot of things, whether it be CPD conferences, happen online now, which are great. But I think something face to face offers something a bit extra.
I always find whenever you do anything online, you literally almost have a list of things to talk through, then you end. You kind of just end. That's it. We're meeting to discuss this and we end. Whereas when you're face to face, you talk through those, but you also, I think you segue more.
Yes.
You bring in those little things. You add more to the conversation. You bring in different you ask those questions you probably wouldn't have asked in an online meeting. I do feel that those face to face are richer. And one of the things I found when I think it wasn't last, it was the year before I visited, is I bumped into Ginny Bootman. So I had a big catch up with Ginny. I met up with some other people. I know some of the exhibitors. I had a big chat with them. But also somebody going, are you going to go to this show? Because we can have a chat. So I ended up actually meeting some customers there and actually having a little quiet room and jumping in there and having a chat. But also it was lots of meeting, lots of different people. Some people I knew, some people were going to met for the first time. And as you said, it's just a great place for everyone to get together. And
yes,
everyone is about supporting SEND. Everyone is about improving those outcomes. And with lots of challenging times we're in at the moment, is what's that going to look like? What little things can we do? Because again, I said this earlier, small changes can have giant impacts. And just hearing from people, getting that reinvigorated, getting that buzz back and feeding off that from others can really help make a difference.
Yeah, and I think as well, I would say particularly for Senkos, it can sometimes feel quite a lonely role, certainly extremely pressured. And although it doesn't change anything, it's good to meet others who understand and are coming from the same place as yourself. It's strength in numbers, I guess. So yeah, it can go some way to feel making that feel a little bit less lonely than it might otherwise.
I did a podcast with Simon Tanner, who's a SEND lead for his trust, and we were talking about kind of his role is a bit more like a head teacher in a school where you kind of you're responsible for everyone. And in a lot of time in a school, that Senko sits alone over there on a perch, connected, but not really under anyone, not really in collaboration with anyone. They just sit there on their own. And when you've got someone like Simon and things like that, those trust leaders who are really supporting and helping, it's making those connections as Senkos with other Senkos, finding out you're definitely not alone, finding out some quick wins, finding out some things that actually you thought, can I solve this? I can't actually. You just got to work around it. Just hearing that from someone else who's walking the same path as you is really valuable.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it does depend on the individual school. Excuse me. Some schools, the Senko is very much at the centre of everything and works extremely collaboratively. But it's not the same everywhere. That element can sometimes be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, it's I just from lots of experience I've heard is it's they work collaboratively, but it's like you haven't got people to bounce ideas from. You haven't got a peer in your school doing the same sort of thing. Hopefully you're in a trust or you work with someone in a fact like in Nottinghamshire, you have the families, you've got other Senkos. But events like this is a great way to get together, even if you're in the same family, to actually have that day where you can listen to a talk, but also discuss that further. So you get to have those conversations. When they've said that, you can talk about what it means in context of your school and just take it further within your setting.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, just something that's come to mind. I think days like this are always great, but then you also then need to think about, so what do I do with that. So I've heard lots of information, had lots of discussions, but what do I then do once I get back to the day job, as it were? And I would say particularly at the time of year when Nasen Live is, because obviously it's not too long after that you hit the summer break. So one of the sessions will be around thinking about how you can make CPD effective, not only to share the learning that you'll gather from Nasen Live, but also more broadly in school as well. And as part of that session, there will be some exciting news from Nasen, which I can't go into any detail about at the moment. So if you want to know what it is, come to Nasen Live. But yeah, will be launching a new CPD offer that we're hoping and know will be very useful for schools.
Excellent. Exciting. I think there needs to be more. As you said, a lot of people going there will be Senkos and leaders and yes, but as you said before, that every teacher is a teacher of Send, every leader. It's the teachers who aren't getting the Send that information to them. So as many different ways and as many different options that is available.
Yes,
the better.
Absolutely.
There cannot be too much information about Send out there.
And I think it's teaching, Senko aside, teaching is quite a high pressure job with very limited capacity often for CPD. So whatever CPD you have needs to meet your needs to help you meet the needs of your children and young people. So that's something we're very conscious of. So in our new offer, that has been taken into consideration.
Excellent. Now, before we wrap up, anything else we haven't covered?
That's a very good question. I think the only thing that I would add to that, just in case people do want to find out or hear more about Nasen Live, and it goes back to something you mentioned at the start of the session. It is a very diverse agenda. So we'll look at EAL and Send. We're looking at, there's a session around being culturally responsive to learners and how we can take account of different cultures within our classrooms. There'll be input around how to effectively use data and what data is actually available to you. But it is a real mixture. And I guess if I was going to sum it up, I'll just echo what I said previously. There will be something for everyone.
Excellent. And also, we're going to be there, so it's going to be definitely something for everyone if we're going to be there.
What can I say?
So, it's on the 4th of July. It's a full-day conference, which is a Friday. The Vox, next to the NEC in Birmingham. Easy to get to with your flying, if you have that in person, because it might be actually cheaper and quicker.
We do get some people who fly to Nasen Live if they're coming from abroad.
I've also learned from where I am, it's cheaper and quicker to fly to Newcastle than it is to get there by train, which I find more bonkers.
Oh, okay.
So there's a conference, lots of exhibitors. So you're going to come away with something. You'll be networking. It's going to be a great day. And I would say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be there, if I'm going to be somewhere else. But somebody from my team will be there. So please, if you are going, come along and say hi. So, usual wrap-up. So thank you for coming on the show today.
You're welcome. Pleasure.
We'll be putting links so you can find out more about the conference, the exhibitors, the speakers, and the sessions. And I'll also share all the social media links and website links for Nasen, so you can find out more about Nasen and keep up to date with everything they're doing, and hopefully find out what this new secret CPD is, which won't be secret for very much longer, a couple of months. And you'll find, as always, the show notes on our website, theSENDcast.com, or wherever you listen to this podcast. So thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed already, click on that subscribe button. You can follow us on all the social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're on all of them. No dancing on TikTok, no matter what. And the SENDcast is created and produced by us here at B Squared. We can help to show the small sets of progress pupils with SEND make But do you know about Autism Progress? This is our framework for helping profile a pupil's autism and how it impacts them. It's based on CERT and looks at communication, social interaction, emotion regulation, and flexible thinking. Autism Progress also includes a wide range of strategies to help support the pupils. So come and see us at the Nasen Live, or visit the B Squared website, or click on the meeting link in the show notes where you can book a meeting with me to take you through our assessment software and other products and how they can help you. So thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of the SENDcast. It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Bye, everyone.